Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. Hope your morning's off to a good start. If you're here in Vancouver, watch the roads. They're a little bit slippery. We've got our snow today. Hopefully, it won't last for too long. So, I hope that you are having a great day. I hope your Friday's off to a good start heading into the weekend. Yay. I wanted to talk a little bit about proper nutrition because I know that a lot of people are very, very confused about what proper nutrition is, and that's really due to a lot of mixed messages that we get in the media about diet and what we're supposed to be putting in our bodies. Unfortunately, quite often we're swayed by the promise of losing weight fast, which is it's not healthy to lose weight fast, and the methods that they're suggesting are definitely not healthy. So, unfortunately, though, we are very much attracted to that. I've fallen into the trap before and learned my lesson. And so now I'm sharing what I know with you to help you be healthier. Hey, Ryan, how's it going? So, the your success, your performance, whatever is about 80% dependent on your diet. So nutrition is a big thing. Hey, Andy, how's it going? So you can easily out eat a really good exercise program. So if you're killing yourself in the gym, but you're not eating properly, you're not going to get results. It's not going to happen. You have to have that proper nutrition. Like I said, 80%. So, most of it comes down to nutrition. Um, and that's where all the major confusion is. And I know I myself in the past fell into the trap of thinking, well, if I eat as little as possible and exercise as much as possible, I'm going to have the perfect body. And that is very, very wrong. So I'm here to help share some information. So there are the three main nutrients that your body needs, and I think you're all aware of those. So carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Um, Carbohydrates are what kind of give you that quick source of energy. So when you're having to do something that's very high energy, your body will draw from your carbohydrate stores. So what your body does is when you eat carbs, your body breaks that down into sugars and stores that in your muscle and your liver. If you're eating more carbs than you're able to store in your muscle and liver, it's then stored as fat. So that's where people will have weight issues if they're eating too many carbs. So, Andy, that ribs and cheeseburger diets are like totally killing my workout regimen. Yeah, yeah. Well, ribs aren't so bad depending on what you put on them, as long as you're not putting like sugary sauces on them. Ribs are just fine. So, there is some information about how your body doesn't absolutely have to use carbs for energy. So that's known as being in ketosis. So basically, you eat very low carbs, you eat high fat and moderate protein, and your body is actually able to use your fat stores as energy, which is great news for endurance athletes because your body can store way more fat than it can carbohydrates. So even someone who's really, really lean will have much more storage of fat than they will of carbohydrates. So that could mean, if you're doing an endurance thing, that you could last for hours and hours because you've got that fuel source of body fat. So that's something that's very fascinating. And I'll talk about that another time about ketogenic diet and the benefits of that. But for the most part, people do depend on their carbs for their energy. One mistake that some people do make, though, is thinking they need to like carb load big time before their workout the next day or their event, and then they go overboard. And as I said, if you eat too many carbs and your body's able to store, there's no point in that; just gets stored as fat. So more information about the ketogenic diet I'll do a different time because that's a whole subject in itself. So protein contains amino acids, and amino acids are the building block of muscle. So when you work out, you actually cause a little bit of damage to your muscle, called micro tears. And then what your body needs is it needs those building blocks from the protein in order to repair and build and get stronger. So if you're not getting enough protein, you're going to be feeling weaker rather than stronger because you're basically just tearing down and not rebuilding. I highly recommend having a high quality protein shake right after your workout. If it's a liquid source, your body's going to absorb it a lot quicker. And if it's a high quality protein shake, it's going to be high quality protein. So um, don't be afraid to spend a little extra on your protein shakes. You get what you pay for. So if you're getting a really cheap protein shake, you're probably ending up putting in things in your body that you really don't need, like artificial flavors and colors and that kind of thing. And that's going to interfere with your ability to rebuild your muscle and perform optimally. So find a good quality protein shake, or even Google a recipe. You can make your own protein shakes if that's a preference for you. And then within 2 hours after your workout, make sure that you do have a good whole food meal. So by that I mean natural foods, and there's a source of carbs. I recommend fruits or vegetables. There's a source of protein, so that could be eggs, poultry, fish, cottage cheese, nuts, edamame. There's lots of different sorts of protein. If you're going for plant-based protein, do a little research, find out what you need to combine in order to get a complete protein, because most plant-based proteins are incomplete, but if you combine them with another plant protein source, you can get a complete protein that way. So there's ways of doing that if you are vegetarian. And then a healthy fat, so things like olive oil, coconut oil, avocado, butter. Butter is good for you guys. It's way better for you than margarine. If you're eating margarine, that's pretty much poison. I read somewhere that when you put margarine out on a countertop, flies won't even land on it. So if flies won't go near it, definitely doesn't belong in your body. So butter is fine. What is your opinion on types of food and times of day to consume, particularly with shift workers? Yeah, shift workers have a tough time. It is kind of tricky. So you need to really be aware of what you're putting in your body and how much. So going for natural foods and making sure that you're not overeating. Your body is in a certain state of stress when you're doing shift work, just because you're up all times during the night when you should be sleeping. So it can be a little bit tricky, but I would even recommend for that investing in a good quality protein shake, or making your own good quality protein shake to have, and making sure that you're eating every like 3 to 4 hours. So don't go a long space without eating and then end up eating too much after that, because then it just overloads your body. And it'll add to the stress. So it can be a little tricky, but you can get around it. It just takes a little more planning, doing meal prep, that kind of thing. If you've got a day during the week where you can set aside, an hour or so and prep your meals and then stick to that plan, it's going to be a lot healthier for you. Hey, Moira, how's it going? So moving on to fats. Fats got a really bad name not too long ago. We were told that if you eat fat, you will get fat. Do you remember that? That was I think that's from the 80s or something. I can't remember the name of the person who was always yelling, if you eat fat, you'll get fat. And so unfortunate that happened, because it led to a lot of confusion. It led to fat phobia. People were cutting fat out completely. And what happened is, when you remove fat from a food that naturally has fat, you have to add something back to it to make it palatable. And what they were adding back to it was sugar. And the result was a startling increase in obesity, especially in kids, and type 2 diabetes. And it was just terrible. People's health really suffered because of that. Luckily, now people are becoming a little more aware that fat is important. It's a necessary part of our diet. We need fat for a healthy body. So the thing with fat is you need to be choosing the correct source and watching your portion sizes, because fat is a dense source of calories. So stay away from hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated fats, also known as trans fats. Don't eat those. They're very unhealthy. Just look for natural sources. So like I said, olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, again, butter. I know people were scared off butter for the longest time, but it's actually good for you. It's just, watching your portion sizes. And of course, if you have pre-existing medical conditions, you would need to talk to a doctor and get that sorted out. But I'm just talking for your basic average person. So if it comes from a natural source, basically you can have that food. Our bodies are designed to use natural foods. So when you put artificial foods into your body doesn't exactly know what to do with it, how to use it for nutrition and energy. So ends up storing it as fat, and it's toxic fat. So you have to look for those natural sources. So trying to figure it all out. Peanut butter, yes, peanut butter is an awesome source of healthy fat, and it's got a bit of protein in it as well. That's a good thing to add to your shakes, actually, to boost the protein. So figuring it all out, as I said, people are really confused about diet, especially diet to support optimum performance, and it's because the diet industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and sadly, your health is not their priority. Your money is their priority. So they're trying to appeal to you on a level where you'll want to spend money on whatever they're trying to sell. And it's very sad. A lot of people are going around very unhealthy, feeling like crap, thinking that it's normal to feel like crap, and it's not. When you start to eat natural foods and you start to feel good, you'll just be like, holy cow, how come I wasn't doing this all along? And it's quite amazing. So you can't be bogging your system down with artificial foods and not expect to have detrimental effects from that. So just try to keep it simple. Try to stick to natural foods. So when you're choosing the food that you want to eat, ask yourself, if there were no grocery stores, could I find this food? And if the answer is no, do not eat it. If the answer is yes, then go ahead. And then when you get used to eating an all-natural diet, then you can start playing around with portion control and percentages. And every body is different, you guys. If I could prescribe one diet that would make everybody's body perform optimally, I'd be a billionaire and everybody in the world would be healthy. But everybody's body is different, so you need to experiment a little. I did a lot of experimenting when I was getting my health in check, and it took a while. It probably took me a year or maybe even close to 2 years before I really had my nutrition to where I wanted it to be, where I was feeling good and my health was really good. So be patient. Opinion on food related to your blood type. That's an interesting and a very interesting subject for sure. I have looked over those books and read about that. Also, thinking about your ancestry and what your ancestors ate, and if that's what they were eating, you should be eating the same type of diet because you come from those people, so your body's more is going to do better with that type of nutrition. So yeah, definitely that would be another way to kind of experiment and see if that works for you. And for some of you, that'll probably be a really great thing, finding out what your blood type is and then getting the book on your blood type diet and following that. And you might see some great benefits from that. And if you do, then go with it. If you don't, then experiment a little bit more. So, for instance, some people do really well on diets that are higher in carbohydrates, healthy carbohydrates, of course. And other people do well in a diet that's, high fat, moderate protein, low carbs, which is the ketogenic diet. So you really do need to experiment and see how you feel and how your body performs. And keep a diet. So keep a journal. So when you decide to try a different type of diet, write down what you're doing, write down how you're feeling. That's really important. What your energy is like, what your mood is like, what your brain feels like. Are you feeling foggy? Are you feeling, really tired all the time? Write all of that down, and then when you find the diet that's really working for you, where your body feels good, you feel energetic, you feel focused, then that's the type of diet that's going to work for you. So, like I said, keep it simple to start. Go with finding those natural foods, get used to that, and then start playing around. Keep tabs on how you're feeling, and you'll eventually find a diet that's going to work really well for you. And, what's better than being healthy and energetic and just feeling good? It sucks when you wake up in the morning and you've got aches and pains and your brain isn't working properly and you're in a bad mood, and if that's happening to you and you're thinking that's normal, it's not normal. If you're feeding your body properly, you're going to see some amazing things happen. You're going to feel so awesome. I think that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I went from, eating unhealthy foods to eating healthy foods. And I've actually experienced that transition from being really unhealthy to getting healthy, and seeing what that feels like and what it did for, not just my body, but my mind, my mood. It was just amazing. Hi, Anne. How's it going? So if you have questions, if you want to discuss this further, I'm happy to do so. I got to run because I have a class starting pretty soon. Hopefully the snow doesn't keep everyone away. I will talk to you very soon. Have a great day, guys.